Good afternoon and welcome to Padre's Ponderings. I thought you forgot it there for a moment. But,
Oh, ye of little faith. I'm on it.
but hopefully soon we won't have to.
Yep. And I saw on the news yesterday that they've determined that 3 feet is enough.
3 feet. CDC?
Big study, huge study of school children that 3 feet was plenty. And the CDC guidelines originally said 3 to 6, and everybody opted with the 6. So I'm thinking if that holds for the schools, I'm just an older student. You know?
We're always students.
There
right?
you go. So I'm thinking, I mean, really, there's just a lot about this. It's kind of squirrely. So, but I'm hoping that 3 feet, 6 becomes 3 and 3 becomes zip.
True.
Zip. And that mask becomes no mask. And I would like it to happen before Easter.
No. 3 weeks.
I mean, while we're...
Might as well have a goal, right?
That's it. I'd like for it to happen before Easter.
Yes.
It'd be wonderful.
So Easter registration starts next Monday.
Great. But now we'll register as if everything is just like it is now, because it probably will be.
Unless something changes in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that could happen. But right now, we have to plan that 3 weeks from now will be just like it is now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so Holy Week and Easter, we'll be able to register next Monday.
a lot of services in there.
Yeah.
And did I tell you, Jonathan, or did I mention before that Jonathan and I are doing something different with Palm Sunday and Easter?
Yes, we did, and I'm still, I shared it with somebody today.
I think it's going to be nifty.
It's going to be speedy.
It'll be nifty, yeah.
Speedy. So here's my question. You're walking out. You going out the back? Or you just going to...
No, I'll leave that in the back, because what's going to happen, Jonathan will do the 8 o'clock service on the historic campus.
Right.
See how it works out? Do that for Easter. And so that way you'll have, coming from the chapel will be one sermon, coming from Cross Point will be another sermon.
So we'll be streaming 2 different sermons. Those
2 different
Palm
sermons,
Sunday and
Palm
Easter.
Sunday and Easter, yes. Yes. I just finished that Palm Sunday sermon.
All right, wait a minute. You're doing in the garden this weekend. In the night, in the garden.
In the middle.
In the middle, between Friday and Sunday.
In the middle. And my target audience for Easter this year is the people who aren't here all the time, aren't online all the time, because there is such a thing as people who come at Christmas and Easter.
That's real, yeah.
And so I'm going to try to get this be my only shot at some of those people. So I'm doing a very simple sermon, got a couple of stories, and then I'll just weave the gospel into the stories. Because people can relate to the stories, maybe can't relate to the gospel. If they can catch the story, they can, and I hook it right, then they'll be able to catch that. So it'll be a sermon for folks who are on the outside a bit. You know. And then on Easter, I'll be here. I'll be here at the 9 o'clock service. That'll get streamed. Then I'll be on the historic for 10, but I will have started the day
At
6-ish on the bluff. That'll be good too.
I was texting back and forth last night with Phyllis Spearman about the sunrise service.
Yep. And we'll set it up like last year with the cross and the white drape and
she sent
candles
me
and all the rest of it.
a picture of the altar the last time, which it's been
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, and it was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
And I was out there on the bluff before the 8 o'clock service this week, and the sun was just starting to come around there. I was there about 7. I was there at 6:30, but I went outside about 7. Sun was just starting to creep up, but in 3 weeks, it'll come up during the course of that service, and that'll be real special. It's kind of a mist on the river. It's nice.
And we
Very
hope
quiet.
for just a slight breeze.
Slight breeze.
Because that keeps the no-see-ums away.
What keeps the no-see-ums away is the temperature.
Because it's usually chilly. Like
it's
you usually wear a
chilly.
coat.
It's usually chilly. So, and that's, I'm hoping it's going to be a little chilly this year. And if it's not chilly, we best have a breeze.
Right.
Because it will get testy out there. The no-see-ums take no captives.
No.
They are coming for lunch. So.
We were just talking about, before this started, about allergies, and no-see-ums are another thing that around here are
The first time I
fun.
tried to do a sunrise service over there was about 20 years ago. And I was outside, I had a white alb on, and we had chairs set up out there. And that went for about 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. And my white alb looked black. It was amazing. You know, and I watched the people were coming in, and some had on those bee hunters hats and things like that, and I wondered, what is this about?
They knew.
They knew. I didn't. I didn't. Wasn't but a handful of us there. We retreated inside.
So
Inside.
it was so bad you had to go inside.
Oh, we had to go inside. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't get anywhere. There's no nonchalant way to preach and smack all that stuff. I mean, you just can't do that. So, anyway,
I did have somebody say, what happens if it rains?
we'll go inside.
However many people can fit.
However many people. Whoever comes, we're going in. Yeah.
But I don't think we've had that problem. I said
Nope.
it doesn't rain on Easter.
No, we really haven't had that problem.
No.
And I'm hoping this year, who knows who's coming, how many are coming, that kind of stuff. But it'll be outside, and people can wear a mask or not, I guess. And we'll do what we can do.
Yeah, well, you don't have to register for that service because logistically, not sure how that would work. And
that
being
service- that's
dark and outside
Yeah, and it
and a
gets
lot of things.
visitors. So, yeah, candles.
Candles.
We'll start out with the candles, and then hopefully won't need them as we get to the end of it. But that'll be great. It'll be fine. It's a simple service, a couple of songs. Jody will be there for that, for the music part of it.
But excited to have Easter services. That was just strange last year.
Just me and Jason and Jordan.
I know.
You know.
So blessings to be able to have 6 services for sure.
So what do you got in your lap?
Well,
here,
we've got something new starting
Something
this
new.
week. Yes, we mentioned it a while back, but we circled back around. Jonathan is preaching on religion versus the gospel. That's his sermon title this week. So he came up with some questions and all of the scripture he's using, and there's a link here of a video. I'm not sure if he's using it in his sermon, but which goes along with this, the topic. So you'll be able to download some sermon notes and materials. So after the sermon on Sunday, you will be able to follow up and do study on your own or with a small group or as an individual, just to carry the sermon instead of just listening to it on Sunday and then forgetting about it, to continue on with it with your personal study.
Wonderful.
So it'll be attached on the website and in the e-news this week.
So you want questions on my sermon?
Yes, you haven't given them to me yet, but I know that they're there. I just have to grab them.
Have to grab them. A few things worthwhile. I did them Monday. I didn't do them Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon,
That's your movie day. What'd you watch this week?
I dozed this week.
Oh,
I
nothing.
got messed up. I lost an hour.
I know.
Lost an hour.
We had quite a few people. We had a lot of people registered, but it was clear who forgot about the time. Yeah.
So we had, I get up on the Sundays I'm preaching, I'm up at 5:30.
Oh, but to your body it was 4:30.
So that's exactly right. I was at 4:30, and time I got home, your mama had some lunch and all that, and had lunch, and then I sat in my chair, and I just kind of nodded in and out, and there was a golf tournament on. The players golf tournament, you know, that'll put you to sleep. But,
True.
so anyway, I was in and out a little bit with that. But dozing, and then boy, come 8:30 that night. I was able to make it to 8:30 because I wanted to stay up till 7:30, which is my regular bedtime, to try to get my body adjusted a little bit. So I stayed up to 8:30, which would be 7:30, and went to bed, and it was 10:30 before I got up.
It's amazing when
That biological clock thing?
when
That's
my
real.
kids were little, that was the worst, because babies don't get it. They just get up. But
So I
that's
don't know
rough.
what's going to happen with all that. But I picked up, there was a fella in the golf tournament, a young man, I want to say his name was Gim or Kim or something like that. He was in the next to the last group. And he's a young player on the tour and all that. And he was playing with, who was it he was playing with? One of those big time players. Oh, the guy who won it. He was playing with him. And he ended up 7 over par for the round.
Oh,
And so David Faraday, you know the guy.
he's hilarious.
He is. He was one of the commentators over there. So he's Justin. I think his name is Justin. Anyway, whoever won the thing, he hit a big shot, and the other one hit one, and it was over here. You know, and Faraday said he's getting experience.
That's one way to say it.
Getting experience. So the man that was with him said, "What is experience?" And Faraday said, "Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want." I wrote that down. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want.
Boy, that's true.
Now that's profound.
That's true.
I couldn't believe he said that. He got it from somewhere, I'm sure. But anyway, that's good. So the point was, the fellow that shot 7 over par was getting experience because he wasn't getting what he wanted.
No, he was not. And he will never forget that experience.
No.
No. All right, you have a question.
A question.
I hope I'm saying this right. Rives? Deaton?
That's a long time ago.
That's what she said. I sure do miss you, Father Owens. Remember me.
A long time ago. Jeez.
So, yes.
Long time ago. You know, that's the thing about it. People have long memories. You know, they really do. And most of the people that I know have changed over the years. They have, see. But they all say that I haven't ever changed.
Well, that's nice.
I think that's nice. It's a lie, but it's nice.
But it's hard when people, well, you clearly remembered. But it's hard when someone says, "Do you remember me?" and you don't.
No, you don't. You know,
And you try so hard.
yeah, you try, but you know, the last time I saw them, they were this big.
Right.
And now they're 45. You know, sometimes they bear no resemblance to each other, not at all. So you hope to bluff along, get a few hints from the conversation, but a lot of times that doesn't work. So I just am gracious, and I say, they said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, not really. Give me a hint."
Oh, that's good.
Say, "Give me a hint." If I get a few hints, I can narrow it down. But then sometimes you just say, "No, honey, I don't." "I'm sorry. I'll give you a hug. Now tell me who it is you are." And I did. I mean, you just have to do that. So we got, and see, that's one of those things about when I'm on the historic campus and I'm preaching over there. I'll get up 5:30. I'm there by 6:30. I preached my sermon one time to the empty church just to get it back in my head because I've preached it 4 or 5 times already, practicing it, and then I've done the 528 service the day before. Go through it again, get it in my head. And then after that, I'll go and walk around the columbarium out there. See? And I do that, and I look at the little plates and the names, and I just take time and stop, and I look at the name, and then I want to recall the face. Because if you don't work at recalling the faces, after a while they just become names. So we got an email yesterday that Virginia Hutchinson had died. She'd moved up north. Her husband's buried out there. She died, so her ashes will be coming here to be buried out there. And I remember Virginia's face. I remember her husband's face.
Did the columbarium, was that before you came here 20, how long you been here, 24 years?
26.
Oh,
It's about
gosh, I
26
missed a
years.
couple years.
We start 27 in August.
Okay, so is that something that started while you were here?
Oh, yeah.
Not before?
And I've buried most of those people in there. Yeah. And you know, those things get harder over time because, you know, when you first come into a parish, you know, you don't know many people who die. But after you've been here 20-something years,
Right.
you know, everybody you're putting ashes down there, you know them. This is not occupant. This is somebody you know. See, you have feelings about and all the rest of that. Very special. Very special. Be over there this afternoon doing a memorial service for Bill Rivers.
I think a lot of people who visit, a lot of people go over Wright Park now. Beautiful spot. They've done a great job with that. But when they come over to the bluff on our side, I don't think they really realize that people are buried there. So hopefully they'll eventually look down and read the names.
Did I tell you about the columbarium that, God, they wonder where this memory came from. Natalie Mann. She and Art are both buried out there now. Anyway, Natalie was out there and she was going to visit Art's grave. So Natalie's walking along and headed right toward the columbarium, and there's a woman with a dog in the columbarium.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't think people realize, or they don't care.
In the columbarium. And Natalie looked at her and she said, "That's a columbarium." And the woman said, "No, it's a German Shepherd." Could you imagine? No, it's a German Shepherd. Yeah, Natalie was infuriated.
She was a spunky lady.
She was a spunky lady.
So
And
did
the
she tell
dogs-
you what her response was? Did she tell you what her response was to, it's a German Shepherd?
No, she
No,
didn't.
she didn't share that.
But you know, the dog's in there relieving himself,
I
and her
know.
husband's ashes are right there. I mean, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people don't really realize that when they walk over there.
You know, the little brass plates are all around there. That's a clue. And then down at the end, you've got the monument that says this is what this is. You know.
But you also have a sign that says, don't go past this point. And
Yeah. So sad.
you know what I was thinking about today? I'm not sure why it popped in my mind. Maybe because it's just we're starting to talk about VBS this summer. Michael Ann's starting to plan that. So I'm thinking summer stuff. River baptism. We didn't get to do that last year.
Just talked to Reese about that a little while ago.
Oh, great.
And we're hoping that, you know, we'll do it in August. And
When it's
surely,
good
by
and hot.
goodness, we'll be all right then. And you got to get that, you got to get late July, early August. You got to have the temperature of the water just right. You got to catch the tide just right on a Sunday afternoon, because the tide moves and then you want to try to get it a slack tide as best you can, and the water temperature up. And about that time of year, the water temperature is usually in the 80s, and that's good. But I'm hoping to do that this year, because, and I think we, you know, if we don't have to wear the masks and all that kind of stuff, we'll be able to do that. And you can't, you know, if the town is still masking and social distancing, we won't be able to do the thing. But we'll see. By God's grace, then it'll be over with.
Yeah, that's a great service. It's like that movie, Brother, what is it?
Brother, where art thou?
Brother, where art thou?
Yeah. That's the only good movie George Clooney ever made. That's another story, though. But anyway. And the other two fellas in there were the real stars of that thing. You know, there's three
I
of them.
don't think I've seen that in 35 years or whatever, but I remember it being quite humorous.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the woman in there, I forget who the woman was, but she gave him the devil all the time. She called him high.
No, that was,
I've counted to 3. That was that. She's going down the street and he's behind her. She's got this trail of children hold on to a rope behind her, you know.
I don't remember that. But I thought High was Nicolas Cage in High, Get Me One of Those Babies. Arizona. Raised in Arizona.
I think I missed that.
No, you didn't.
I didn't miss it. I saw that movie.
Yes, you did. Becky will remind you of it. She remembers that one.
Anyway,
That's a Sunday afternoon movie when you just, it's silly and you just want to laugh, which is not typically your type of movie.
little snoozer-roozer there. But I started a new book.
Oh, you already did.
Already did. Moving through it. It's a good book.
Is this the one you were looking for a book about?
Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
This is the book. It's called Luckiest Man.
Oh.
Really, very good book. So, I'm a, immigrant person, and his mom and, his family was from Germany. Mom and dad got out, and talking about immigrants in New York and abject poverty, and he has a sister, and then he's born, and all of them are born there in the apartment, and the sister dies, he's born, they have another baby, stillborn, have another baby that dies, and he ends up being an only child, which was very, very rare in that day and time. And you got 2 and 3 families living in a 2-bedroom apartment, tenement, no running water, nothing like that. His mom's taking in laundry, and dad's scuffling for jobs here and there. And Tommy's a little boy, he's out scrapping for money too. Mm-hmm. Very, very difficult times. Very difficult times. It comes on to the Yankees, and Babe Ruth is the star of the world.
That was a huge team.
They had a great team. Not in the first and second year that he was there, but third year. But anyway, Babe Ruth was bigger than life. It talks about the manager, Walter Huggins, little angry man. Babe Ruth told him the manager was mad at everybody all the time, never smiled, smoked a cigar. And so Babe Ruth is the star, and the manager resents that he's the star, but he needs him. And so anyway, they're always jawing like that, And so he and the manager, Babe Ruth and the manager, get in this big row. And so Babe Ruth says, "If you were half my size, I'd hit you." And the manager said, "If I was half your size, I'd hit you." He is a tiger, a tiger. Anyway, it's a really good book, really good book. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm zipping.
So that'll be a sermon illustration somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I like those things. I read that book about Joe Dimaggio. That was a good book as well. Joe Dimaggio much later than Lou Gehrig. Gehrig comes in the 20s. So. And they built Yankee Stadium during that time. The Polo Grounds was already built, but that burned down, and they built another one. And it was really neat how the Yankees started out. They were called the Knickerbockers because the owner of the team had a big brewery, brewed Knickerbocker beer. But Knickerbockers didn't stick.
But that's what the Knicks are, right? The basketball team? NBA?
They're not the Knickerbockers, are they?
The New York Knicks?
Maybe they're named after the beer.
I could be thinking
Maybe
of
they're named
something.
after the beer. But anyway, he was a German immigrant. His family was. He was born in the United States.
Right. Wow.
And no record of the family in immigration, and census information, no record of the family in there, which means that they lived with other people because the census was done based upon door to door.
Yeah, household.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
Sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, let me give you an update on the food bank from yesterday. We have a lot of empty shelves. 172 families came through yesterday. 608 bags were donated, but here's the list of items that are needed. Canned vegetables, canned tuna, chicken, jelly, canned fruit, beans, ravioli, Pop-Tarts, pasta sauce, rice. Sounds like basically everything. Or all the staples. Diapers of all sizes and baby wipes. That's a big need for a lot of young families come through with children. So diapers and wipes are important too. So, and I saw Jim Dorsch picking up food this morning on his route.
That was a good bit. That was a good bit left off here.
There was a ton of food in the chapel narthex. So thank you very much for dropping those donations off. He usually comes on Mondays, but today he came on Tuesday.
You know, there's no way that you could afford to buy all the food that we give away.
Oh, absolutely not.
That's just a real blessing that people are thinking about other people. I mentioned that in my sermon too.
And it's an easy way to, you just add some items in your regular list and drop them off. So God's Goods this week they extended their hours. So it's every day from 10 to 1, Tuesday through Saturday. So not Sunday, Monday, they're off for shopping. So instead of 3 days, it's now 5.
But starting the 29th,
oh, what?
God's Goods is going to add something.
What are they adding?
They're adding a Monday afternoon.
God's gifts.
God's gifts. Right after the food bank, they're going to open up and let people come through, and they'll have a whole area set up in the youth room, and they can come through and just pick up things that they need, just give away. So you get the food first, and then if you need clothes or stuff like that, come by and they'll give them to you, household wares, things like that.
So that is specifically for the people who come through the food bank.
That's right.
They'll get their food, park, and then go through and get any items, clothing items they need.
Starting on the 29th.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. And that'll bless a lot of people.
Oh yeah, so many donations, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So to be able to give.
Just give it away. Just like the food, just give it away. And we don't take names and require people to register. And you know, and many food banks, food pantries, you have to do that. And then you can't, and they work together so that you can't go to one place on Tuesday and another place on Wednesday. And you can't come but every so often and all that. But when we first started the thing, that was the idea. We don't need to know who's getting it. If you come and you need food, you can get food.
Yeah. So that's an awesome ministry. Mm-hmm. Fantastic ministry.
It has been for a lot of years.
I know. When did the food bank start?
15 years ago at least, maybe longer.
At Parish Hall, I remember.
Mm-hmm. Katie Mahoney started that. Yeah, special lady. Started because she'd been hungry as a child.
And grew up in Ireland, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she didn't ever want to see children hungry because she knew what hunger was. Huge family, Irish Catholics. Yeah.
Always wore purple.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. All right, Judy, I think that we answered your question about do we need reservations for the sunrise? No, ma'am. But if we run out of seats, you're going to have to stand or bring a lawn chair.
But we'll have seats there.
We will have some, yes. So, all right, anything else you want us to know this week? Register for services.
Yep.
A lot of people, I want to mention this, a lot of you are coming back to services, which is fantastic. I ran into somebody I hadn't seen in a year at Cross Point. I was like, it is so good to see you. And you realize when you see him, oh my gosh, it really has been a year since I've seen you face to face. If you have been receiving wafers and you're coming back to services, if you could just send an email to let us know not to continue to pack wafers for you, that would help. And you would send an email to info@thechurchofthecross.net, and we can just take you off the list.
Because once they sign up for it, then they...
Every month we replenish, unless we hear from you that you don't need them anymore. And quite a few of you this week did let us know that I don't need them, I'm coming back. So.
John and Sue McKinley were at the 10 o'clock service.
Yes, that's the first time they'd been back.
Yep. Yep. And I think that's just wonderful that people are starting to get back and having their shots and feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, and John's what, 97?
I don't know, but he's up there. He's up there. Sue's no child either.
She's spunky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's just really, really special to see people coming back.
Yeah.
Mark and Carolyn Jenkins were there. First time he's been back. He's been battling some
Oh,
cancer problems.
fantastic. Yes.
That's wonderful too. So, people are coming back. You know, we had good crowds at the 3 services. I was at the historic campus this week, and I suspect they were here too.
We were full here. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So, but make sure you're registering, please, so that we can make sure that we have enough spots. And we've had people in the balconies and transepts and everything here. So,
So I'll be here this week, and Crosspoint, and I think Crosspoint's
Crosspoint is communion this week, yes. So you'll be preaching on this campus, and Jonathan will be doing religion versus the gospel on the historic campus. So,
Great.
yeah. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you in person or online. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.
See you when I see you. Never doubt God's love for you and mine.